let's dive right in. We are going to go from deciding to doing. Y'all, this is the start on the whole thing of do it or screw it. So we need to talk about this so much, so much. Go from deciding to doing. Number one, remember your why. Yesterday, I talked a lot about, or a little bit about having that vision. Earlier in the week, we talked about vision. Yesterday, we tied in, when I was talking about starting my business and what my long-term goal or plan or vision was, and kind of putting that into smaller steps and taking that forward. Remember your why. So what is it? You already know this is going to be on the homework for today. So you might as well start thinking about it. What is your why? And don't just write down like my kids. Write down something that is really, really, really specific. A specific why. Like when I was sharing with you yesterday, if I, instead of just writing down when I started my studio and I was working really hard, like instead of just writing down, my son, at that time I only had my son, I didn't have my daughter. But instead, my why was I want to be able to go to every single one of my son's games, sporting events after 5 years. Like that was my driving force, is that I didn't want to be the mom that was working all the time that wasn't going to be there. I didn't want that. I wanted to be able to be there. I wanted to be able to watch him play. And I love that. I love that about his life and what he's interested in. And I wanted to be there to support him. So that was my driving force. So tell yourself exactly what you want and exactly when you want it. What is the timeline and what is the specific why of what you have? Be as specific as possible so your vision really, really becomes clear. So again, like your kids, well, that's a lot, or like I eventually want to have kids, so I want to get this promotion at work to make this amount of money. Like, okay, but when and how long and how many children, like write that down so you have just a really, really specific timeline, and so that your vision becomes crystal clear so that you have it. So here's something to think about. If you don't have a vision for your end goal and you have no clue where you are going, let me repeat that. If you don't have a vision for your end goal or for the end goal, and you have no clue where you're going to work very hard to go nowhere. Let that sit in for a second. If you don't have a vision and you have no clue where you're going to work very hard to go nowhere. What is your why? I talk a lot about with my employees at my small business about their why. That is, before they even come into an interview, I ask people, why do you want to work here? I ask them why they want to work here before I ask them about any experience that they have. When I do coaching with somebody for their small business, or when I do one-on-one coaching, and when I do small group coaching for other women to focus on their goals, my first question is, why are you here? Why are you doing this? Why? What is your why? It's like one of my favorite instructors, Sarah, one of my favorite boxing instructors, she says that every single class, I don't say it out loud, but I answer her in my head because I'm dying. Class, Sarah, if you're watching this, I'm dying. I'm always dying, Sarah. But every time she says, why are you here? What got you out of bed at 5:30 this morning? Why are you here? And she constantly says that through class. And it's the best, because that is what's going to get you through the hard time. And like, I laughed because like, the boxing center, like, that place that I go to, they were so busy that they had to implement a $10 late fee. Or not a $10 cancellation fee. So like if you didn't show up, because so many people wanted to get into the same class, they were instilling $10 cancellation fees if you didn't cancel. I think it was like 10 hours before your class. So there was this one class, it was like, I didn't sleep. I'm like, my alarm went off. I'm like, I don't want to go. I don't want to do this. And I'm thinking, I don't want to pay $10. Like I didn't cancel my class. I'm getting up, I'm gonna go. Like, I still want to pay the $10. So the whole time Sarah's like, why are you here? I was telling her after class, I was like, dude, the whole time I kept thinking, like, because I didn't want to pay $10. Like, that's what got me here. Whatever it is, right? Whatever it is, like, say it, visualize it, like, it's gonna get you there. It doesn't have to be some grand whole big thing. Just, yes, why are you here? What are you doing this for? Because that's what's that specific thing is what's always going to help you get up, stay up late, sacrifice, do whatever it is that you got to do when you're tired, when you feel like you can't do it anymore. That's what's going to get you. That's what's going to get you there. That's what's your time matters. Every inch of what you do, every single inch of what you do needs to match up with your why. This is why we've talked so much about scheduling. And, this is, when we talked about saying no, it's like, if those relationships, remember how we talked about this, the bullseye, if these relationships are not focused on your why, they need to move. They need to get out of the way. You need to make those decisions. Okay. You need to make those decisions and you need to shift it. You need to take action and do that right away. So treat your time like it's valuable. These relationships, if they're not moving you toward what it is that your why is, they got to move. They got to shift. If your schedule isn't in the right way, it's not working, like it's not working as a system. It's got to shift. It's got to move, to adjust to, feed into, move toward, support, and hold your why. All right. Let's keep going. Number 2, stop, drop, do. Take control of your life right now. Make a decision to take control of your life. What does that look like for you? I don't know, because maybe I haven't talked to you about it one-on-one, but I want to know, because I've gone through not having control of my life, and I've gone through taking control of my life. Recently this year, I rebranded to a brand called Life Redesigned. This is the group that all of you are in. This is what you're listening to. This is what I'm doing. Here I am. I've lived it. I've done it. I had to stop, drop, and do. I had to shift. I had to move. I had to heal. I had to adjust. I had to fix my priorities. I had to make decisions. I had to get out of it. I had to do all of these things. So I'm telling you right now, take control of your life right now. What does that look like? Drop what doesn't work and do what does. Stop right now. Decide that you are going to take action. Take control of your life. Stop talking about what you're going to do and instead do something. You don't know what to do? That's okay. Just do something. You're watching this video, you're doing something. Maybe you're like, I don't know. Maybe it should just go here. Okay. Like recently I was feeling like, oh my gosh, like when my kids are not here, I'm feeling really lonely. And you know what? All of a sudden I realized, like, I've been talking about this for like weeks. I went and actually I was like, I put this in my war room, and I was like, I need to be around women that are maybe feeling the same way. And all of a sudden I got invited by an acquaintance of mine to this brunch that was in Grand Rapids. And one of the speakers has a Facebook group that is moms. And it's like, are you feeling lonely when your children aren't there? Are you feeling mom guilt? And all this stuff. And I was like, oh my gosh, it like fell in my lap. I manifested it into my life. So I did something about it. I joined the group, I joined the group. So don't keep talking about how you hate your job. Get a new job. Take action. Take control. Stop talking about the relationship that sucks your energy. Move it. Adjust it. Stop talking about the stuff that you don't have. Write down a list and talk about the things that you're thankful for. Adjust. Take control. Do it. The last training that I did, there was a woman in my training. I did a small group training for I think that training, it was 8 weeks. So we did 8 modules, and we met as a small group each week. And one of the women in my training, her sole purpose of joining the group was to be happy. And she was at a job that she had been at, a company that she had been a part of for 17 years. And she was so unhappy there, but she didn't want to leave because she had given so much to the company. And we talked one-on-one, and she's like, Amy, I don't know what to do. My boss is this, she says this to me. I'm so discouraged. I don't even want to get out of bed anymore during the day. I'm struggling with depression. I'm this, I'm that. And I said, listen to me right now. Like, her and I decided, okay, I didn't say that. That would be like a motherly thing to say. I didn't say, listen to me right now. Okay. We were talking and communicating, and we were both like, you know what? It's got to happen. Like, we have to take action. And so I asked her, what is one thing? Like, what's one thing that you can do tomorrow? And we focused on that small step. And it was like right then and there, when we were on the phone together, we made a decision, and we made a decision together. And I was like, you deserve more. I believe in you. You need to trust that you can make this happen. And I'm going to do everything in my power to help you manifest a new job into your life. We're going to use our network to find you interviews, and we're going to get you a new job. You need to get out of there. And she was like, I know. She spent a couple more weeks there, and she was like, she called, texting me again. I'm so miserable. We talked on the phone. And I was like, okay, let's take another action. Like, we got to take another action step. And we did, and we did, and we did, and we did. And a couple weeks later, to make a long story short, within that whole process, she's got a new job. She quit her job. She walked out. Not only did she quit, she walked out. She walked out on her boss that was treating her poorly, that was treating her like she wasn't enough. She wasn't doing all these things right. She walked out. She walked out of her job that she was so secure in for 17 years, that she gave a lot of her life to. She walked out, got interviews, and now is in a job that she loves and is making more money than the job that she was previously in, because she stopped and she dropped it, and then she did it. She took action. So I hope that inspires you, like it inspired me. When I was going through a couple of years ago, it was like I've been talking a little bit about through this challenge, and I was going through a dark valley. And looking back at my life, it's like, I don't know if it's ever been dark like this. And this was dark. It was dark for me. It was maybe the only dark part, and it was a lot. There was a lot of things that contributed to that darkness. And my going through that, there was a large piece of me that was like, I don't think I can't do it. And that is something I don't know that I've ever said in my life. Like, I just truly believe that I can do anything. And I've just always been like such an optimist. It was a lot of conditioning to get myself out of my head and work with people to help me get back to myself. And I took the tiniest steps, and I just knew that I had to take action. I don't know what my action was for like months. It was to get out of bed. And then that became okay. Like, then it became like, okay, I can get out of bed like pretty easy. I mean, I had to get out of bed, take care of my kids, obviously, but and then it was, okay, like now I'm going to wear something else besides sweatpants and a sweatshirt. And now so at one point it was like, okay, I'm going to wear jeans. Okay, I'm going to start looking at myself in the mirror. And I'm going to start being able to answer questions and fielding questions from people that are asking me how I'm doing. It was just all these small things, like one step at a time. So your steps, they don't have to be big. Your do doesn't have to be so major that it seems overwhelming. Don't do that to yourself. Little by little, you're going to get there. And in 2 years, I went from my step being getting out of bed to now my goal being able to, drop these giant launches and scaling my small business to $1 million, and focusing on like a brand new rebrand this year of new things and new journeys, and an amazing podcast, and working on a book, and like working on all of these things. It's like, if you'd have asked me if I would have been doing this 2 years ago, I would have been like, absolutely not. There's no way I'll be able to do that. And here I am. So if I can do it, you can too. Small steps, stop, drop, and do. Number 1, remember your why. Number 2, stop, drop, and do. Number 3, find someone to hold you accountable. This is so important. Who's going to be here to help you? Who's going to hold you accountable? I don't know about you, but I need accountability in my life, or I can find some pretty wicked ways and reasons of why not to do something. So, again, like I can work out at home. I've done it. I do it. But my jam is to like show up somewhere that somebody else is at. That's just accountability for me. My private coaches that I work with, they hold me accountable. I work within Trello, and I have checklists that I have to go through and get done. That holds me accountable. The time that I talk to them next after for my next coaching session with them, like it's accountability. They're like, okay, did you get these things done that we talked about last month? Where are you at with this? Where are you at with this? I do that with my staff. I have accountability meetings with my staff twice a year. Okay, like what are your goals for the year? Okay, and then 6 months from then we talk 6 months from then we talk about like where are you at with this? Where are you at with that? That's accountability. Holds them accountable for those things. When I do coaching with other business owners, when I do it's the same thing. We have follow-up calls. I'm part of my one-on-one coaching with business owners is where are you at with that? Send me a video, send me a PDF. Like, how are you doing? Like, how are you working? How's it going? When I do coaching, one-on-one coaching, small group coaching, when I launch you guys to all of you, the new program, the 90-day reboot to redesign your life, which I'm so pumped about. When we do that, I'm going to have you, each of you that join, I'm going to have you on a Trello board, and it's going to be your name. And every week we're going to go through a checklist, and we're going to talk about that. When we do our free one-on-one coaching with each other, when you do your free coaching session with me, we're going to go through what your goals are and what are some steps that you're going to do to achieve that. We're going to talk about we're going to talk about to-do steps, and I'm going to see them. And we have a way to interact where you can actually set and check those off when you're done. You can send me files. We can communicate in there. We're going to do that. I'm going to be checking in with the group live once a week. So here's kind of how that's going to work. It's going to launch. It's going to be a 90-day program. You're going to have 12 modules. You're going to have 12 modules of me guiding you of how to reboot and redesign your life. This is going to be life-changing. Each week, each month, whatever you want to do, you can watch these videos at any time. Every single week, I'm going to go live in the group to talk about, any questions that you might have, to have group discussions. Small group is just, it's so good. It's like you can go to one-on-one, you can do like stuff one-on-one with a coach, but when you're in a small group, there's nothing like learning from each other, hearing from each other, helping each other, supporting each other. So I'm going to be coming in live once a week to do a small group coaching session. I'm going to be doing a free one-on-one coaching session with you guys within that course. And I'm going to be pumped. We're going to get it done. Like, summer's coming. We're going to go after this, and we're going to make sure that your life is redesigned in a way that you want it to be before the end of the year hits. Your past doesn't need to define your future. So who is going to help you? Who is going to hold you accountable? Do you have a mentor? Is it going to be our small group? Is it going to be me? Is it going to be a parent? Is it going to be a spouse? Is it going to be a friend? Who is it going to be? How are they going to do it? What are they going to do? And make sure it happens. If you don't have an accountability partner, it's not gonna make it. Okay. If you try to do all of this on your own, it's not gonna happen. I promise you, it's not gonna happen. You need community. We are built for community, you guys. We are built for community. So decide right now, who is it gonna be? Who's your accountability action gonna be? And last but not least, write down 3 action steps that you are going to take right now. Right now, write them down. So here we go. Your homework for day 5, this is what I'm leaving you with. What is your why? Write it down, share it with someone, and who is going to be your coach, your accountability team, your person moving forward. What is that going to look like in your life? And what are those 3 action steps that you can do right now? Are your action steps going to be adjust your calendar and focus on that? Is it going to be to say no more often? Is it going to be to enroll in a business course? Is it going to be to go back to school? Is it going to be to apply for that promotion? Is it going to be to be more present with your children? And if so, how are you going to do that? Break that down. So don't just say like, I'm going to be more present. How are you going to do that? You're going to create them. You're going to go through meditation. You're going to create a mantra. You're going to create structure. You're going to do all that stuff. Write it specifically down on the action steps you're going to take. It's not just going to be like, I'm going to grow. Well, how are you going to grow? How are you going to do it? How are you going to get there? You know, what's your why within all of that, and what's going to push you to get there? So what are 3 action steps that you're going to take right now? Share one with me, will you? Share one with me in the comments. I want to hear where you're at. I want to hear where you're headed. I want to be here with you on this journey. I have so much more coming from this year that I can't wait to share with you. As I stated before, I've got my 90-day reboot coming up. So that's going to launch in June. Stay tuned, you guys, and take a look for that. You're going to be the first people to that I will launch it for, that it's going to be exclusive for, and there may be a discount coming for all of you too. So keep a lookout for that. And I've got so much more coming for you. I've got podcasts. I've got blogs. I've got so much more freebies coming your way this year that I just can't wait to journey with you. I can't wait to hear your heart. I can't wait to hear where you're at. Call me, message me, DM me. I want to journey with you. I want to see your growth. I want to cheer you on. I believe in you. So start believing in yourself, because I believe in you. And listen, before I leave, I want to share with you one thing. The most important thing of how I do what I do. When people ask, how do you do it all? How do you balance all? Listen, I'm not perfect. I don't even know some days like how I get through them, but you know what I do? My motto is do it or screw it. And I hope that became yours too.